Hello guys, welcome back to my channel English Academy. Guys, please like, share, follow, comment and subscribe the channel. Guys, if you have subscribed the channel, now we come on the topic the poem Ode to the West Wind. Guys, you know that this poem was composed by the romantic poet P.B. Shelley. Guys, Shelley was born at a time when the common people were suffering under the tyranny, injustice, and oppression of the political rulers. He was revolutionary by nature. He had a great sympathy for the suffering mankind, so he wanted to bring about a revolutionary in the society as well as in the politics of his times. The French Revolution also greatly affected Shelley like the other romantic poets. Guys, it was the revolution based on the democratic principles of liberty, equality and fraternity. So guys, Shelley wanted to abolish the old political orders and establish a new order in its place. But for his revolutionary enthusiasm, Shelley was banished from his home as well as from his country. Guys, in the guys through this poem, he wanted to scatter his thought in the world. So, guys, in the first stanza of the poem, Shelley has presented the west wind as a destroyer and a preserver. When the west wind blows over the earth, it carries away the dead and rotten leaves with it. The dead leaves fly before the west wind as the ghosts fly before the magician. Guys, in the second stanza, guys, the poet also said that the west wind also taken away with it the seeds scattered on the fields. During the winter season, the seeds like buried under the ice like dead bodies in their graves. Guys, in the second stanza of the poem, the poet describes the effect of the west wind blows in the sky. When the west wind blows in the sky, it brings a storm there. The loose clouds fly with the west wind towards the horizon. Then the whole sky is covered with the rainy clouds. As a result, rain, lightning, and hail fall on the earth. Then Shelley says that the west wind disturbs the silence of the Mediterranean Ocean. The high rising waves of the Atlantic Ocean make arched gates for the welcome of the west wind. Guys, the poet also said that the effect of the west wind is also felt at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. The leaves at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean at once recognized the voice of the west wind. Guys, in the fourth stanza of the poem, the fourth stanza is autobiographical in itself. It is about the poet himself. The poet, this stanza also describes how miserable and frustrated was Shelley after his banishment from England. All his freedom was now taken away from him, and he lived in Florence like a prisoner bound in chains. There was such a heavy weight of sorrows on his head. He was like a man fallen on the thorns and who bleeds. Guys, in this video, we will discuss about the remaining stanza of the poems. Guys, in this stanza, the poet describes the last stanza of the poem has a prophetic message of Shelley to the suffering of mankind. Guys, Shelley wanted to bring about a revolution in the society and politics of his times. Guys, the poet hopes for a bright future for humanity. He gives to them a message of joy and hope, and he says that just as spring comes after winter, joy will come after sorrow. He prays to the west wind to spread this message of hope and joy over the whole earth. Guys, you know that Saleh was both a pessimist and optimist. He was a pessimist about himself and optimist about a bright future for mankind. Guys, Saleh expresses his misery and despair. He feels very miserable because he has lost his freedom and is living like a prisoner. He is unable to do anything for the suffering mankind. He is now helpless and hopeless. Guys, now we explain the we explain the fifth stanza of the poem. So guys, let's start now. Make me thy lyre even as the forest is. Guys, before explaining the stanza, we must know about the meaning of one by one words of the line. Make me thy lyre even as the forest is. Guys, lyre means song. Next line. What if my leaves are falling like its own? The tumult of thy mighty harmonies will take from both a deep autumnal tone, sweet though in sadness, be thou spirit fires. My spirit be thou me impetuous one, drive my dead thoughts over the universe, like withered leaves to quicken a new birth, and by the incantation of this verse, scatter as from an unextinguished heart, ashes and sparks my words among mankind. Be through my lips to unawakened earth. The trumpet of prophecy, O wind. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? Make me thy lyre even as the forest. Guys, in the first lines, the poet prays to the west wind to make him its musical instruments when it blows through the forest. Guys, second line, what if my leaves are falling like its own? Guys, Sally makes an appeal to the west wind to make him its musical instrument like the forest, just as the leaves of the forest, just as the leaves of the forest have fallen. Similarly, the west wind is autumn in the life of Sally. Like forest, he want to lost all his beauty and joy from his youth. The tumult of thy mighty harmonies will take from both a deep autumnal tones. Guys, tumult means noise. Thy mighty harmony, mighty means in powerful. Harmonies means music. Next line will take from both a deep autumnal tone. As autumnal means melancholy, tone means music. In this line, the poet says that although this music is sad and melancholy, yet it will be sweet and delightful. Sweet though in sadness, be thou spirit fires. Guys, spirit means soul, fires means stormy wind. Thus, in this line, the poet say that the music produced by the both the forest and he will be a melancholy one, although it is sad music, yet it will be sweet and delightful. Guys, next line. My spirit be though me impetuous one, drive my dead thoughts over the universe. Guys, impetuous means uncontrolled. My spirit means my soul. In this line, the drive my dead thoughts over the universe. Sorry, my spirit be thou me impetuous one. Guys, in this line, the poet wishes to be- in this line, the poet wishes to become one with the west wind. In other words, he wants to be united with the west wind. Like withered leaves to quicken a new birth, and by the incantation of this universe, of this verse, guys, verse means songs, and by scattered as from an unextinguished heart. Guys, un, unextinguished means unquenched, hearth means fireplace, ashes and sparks my words among mankind. Guys, sparks means burning coals. Be through my lips to unawakened earth. The trumpet of prophecy, O wind. If winter comes, can spring far behind? Prophecy, guys, prophecy means forecast. Guys, explain the now we explain the fifth stanza of the poem. So let's start. Start now. Make me thy lyre, even the forest itch. What if my leaves are falling like its own? The tumult of thy mighty harmonies will make from both a deep autumnal tone. Sweet thou in sadness be thou spirit fires. My spirit be thou me impetuous one. Guys, in this line, the poet said that, like the west wind, he too was swift and proud in his moment of life. The burdens and problems of life have weakened him. His eyes are now open to the hard realities of life. Guys, the poet says that they have put him down, so he prays to the west wind for help. Guys, the poet also says that when the west wind blows through the forest and creates its own music, the poet desires the west wind to blow through his heart and produce its sweet music. And he prays to the west wind to inspire him in his art of composing poems. If matters little that there is a autumn in his life, he is passing through sorrowful days. All his youth is dead like the dry leaves. Guys, the poet wants to the guys the poet wants the west wind to spread his message through the world. The poet feels that the swiftness and force with which the west wind blows, he wants the spirit of the wind to become his spirit. The poet wants to share the uncontrollable and wild spirit of the west wind and spread his message through it. Guys, the poet implores the west wind to inspire him with its own fire's spirit. He wishes his own spirit to be as impetuous, swift, and proud as that of the west wind. Guys, the poet appeals it to take his place as he and the west wind have kindled natures. Next line. Drive my dead thoughts over the universe like withered leaves to quicken a new birth, and by incantation of this verse, scatter as from an unextinguished hearth, ashes and sparks my words among mankind. Guys, in this line, the poet admits his weakness and he says that he is unable to find out single handed the evils of life. Evils of life. He prays to the west wind to take possession of him and of his poetry and make it powerful enough in the world to bring about the reformation of mankind. Guys, he desires to be completely one with the west wind and its fire's energy. He feels that the thoughts of his poetry have been uttered without result. They appear to merely like the dead. The poet says that this world is like a hearth where the fire has burned, low its aspirations have subsided but not quite died out. Guys, Shelley wishes his poetry to revive and spread over the world their self-dead aspiration as the wind scattered the ashes and rekindles and carriers four and by two sparks. Next line. Be thou my lips to unawakened earth, the trumpet of prophecy. In this line, the poet appeals to the west wind that the west wind should become his mouthpiece and help him in creating a revolution in the world. Guys, the poet says that just as the earth is sleeping in winter, similarly, the world of man and woman is sleeping in ignorance. Therefore, the poet asks the west wind to become his mouthpiece in spreading his message of hope and love. Guys, the message of the poet is if it is winter today, spring will follow in course of time. Guys, last line of the poem is that, "O wind, if winter comes, can spring be far behind?" Guys, in the previous video, we have discussed that Saleh believes in the rebirth of humanity and he holds that man is essential good and all the wickedness in the world is caused by the conventions and established authority. Guys, once humanity it realizes that this truth and it will shake itself free of the dead tyranny of conventions which binds its spirit. When this happens, humanity will emerge in all its nobility and glory. Guys, through this poem, the poet wants to establish a prophecy of a new and better life for the world. The prophecy will sound like a trumpet rousing the world from sleep. The revival will be like the return of spring after winter. The concluding line is prophetic. Guys, here in this line, the winter stands for the present evils of mankind and spring for the golden age. Guys, in this line, Sally expresses his optimism regarding the future of mankind. So, guys, I hope that you understand the explanation of this stanza. Guys, now we will study about the imagery which are used by the poet in this poem. So, guys, let's start now. Guys, Otto the West Wind is a remarkable for the use of beautiful images. The whole poem is full of the images of storms and turmoil. Guys, the imagery used in this poem is not only vivid and beautiful but also very suggestive and meaningful. Guys, the images reflects the state of poet's mind. Guys, you know that Saleh was a revolutionary. He wanted to bring about a new social and political order in place of the mankind. In place of the mind is reflected by the images of storms, turmoil used in the poem. Guys, here is a list of the important images we find in the poem. As the poem begins, we have the images which we find in the poem. We have the images of ghosts and spirits. The dead leaves fly before the magician. Then there are the images of death and rebirth. The seeds lie in winter under the ice as corpses lie in their graves. But when the spring wind blows, but when the spring wind blows, the same seeds grow into plants, covering all the hills and plains with beautiful and colorful flowers. The images of the westwind as a shepherd is beautiful and suggestive in itself. Guy Shelley has also introduced the cloud and sea imagery in this poem. The loose clouds fly with the west wind like the dead leaves on the earth. The west wind disturbs the silence of the Mediterranean Ocean and the high rising waves of the Atlantic Sea. Towards the end of the poem, it has a imagery of the lyre and the hearth. The forest act as a lyre for the west wind and it also scattered the ashes and the burning coals from the hearth. Thus, the poem is a remarkable for its use of imagery. Guys, Now we will study about the language and styles which was used by the romantic poet V.V. Shelley in this poem Ode to the West Wind. Guys, Ode to the West Wind is a lyric of a great complexity. The poem is divided into 5 stanzas of 14 lines each. Guys, the rhyme scheme of the poem is ABA, CBC, EFE, ABA, BCB, CDC, EF. It shows that each stanza of poem is divided into 4 triplets of 3 lines each and couplets at the end. Thus, the constructions of the poem is a little complex. The images are used in this poem are beautiful and suggestive, vivid and concretive. The poem has been praised by all for its lyrical quality. It is a perfect piece of art because it is a faultlessness. The epithets used in the poem are few and simple. The language of the poem is loaded with emotional intensity. Guys, perhaps there is no other song in the whole of the English literature that is more powerful and forceful. The language of the poem is not so simple, it is a detailed, difficult for a common reader of poetry. The style of the poem is descriptive. The first 3 stanzas of poem are descriptions of power of the west wind over the earth, the sky, and the ocean. But the fourth stanza of the poem is autobiographical. Thus, the general and the personal elements are combined in this poem. The choice of words is so appropriate that nothing can be removed or replaced. On the whole, or to the west wind is a beautiful lyric. So, guys, I hope that you you understand to explain the poem of the or to the west wind. Guys, don't forget to like the video. Thank you so much, guys.